My name is John. My wife and I and our kids have been living in Lane Cove now for 15 years. I would like to share our sustainability journey with you and take you on a virtual tour of our house. There are a number of features of our house. Today I'm going to share 5 main ones of our sustainable house: our solar system, our battery storage system, and how we use the ShareWaste platform to compost and enable our neighbours to compost too. We also have a wonderful edible garden which is pollinated by our bees. We have a wonderful solar system on our roof at the moment. I originally got 10 kilowatts of solar when the government was giving the 70 cents a kilowatt rebate, which was wonderful and it paid for itself. It was very expensive back then, but now I upgraded that to 16 kilowatts by additional 6 kilowatts of panels, and it charges our house all year round. Whether it's sunny or cloudy like today, there's still enough power coming out of the solar panels to power the entire house, and we do not pay for electricity at all. Most of the year we actually get benefit from the companies that are paying us for our solar panels or our solar power, which is fantastic. We originally decided to get solar, to be honest, not from an environmental perspective, but from a financial perspective. It made perfect sense. We are getting paid for $1,000 to $2,000 a year at the moment with our battery system and everything else for our electricity consumption, rather than actually paying for any power at all. This obviously takes a bit of a capital investment to start with, but the return on the capital investment is huge by comparison to pretty much anything else you can get at the moment. We decided to actually get a battery system as well to help with our solar, to store the solar energy during the day and add what's called a virtual power plant, or a VPP, which enables us to optimize our technology. So the battery stores the energy from the solar panels and pumps it back into the grid when it's not needed most. We have an amazing optimization system which works out what I'm getting paid for the power from the grid. It works out how much I use the power, and it works out the best times to actually transfer the power back to the grid and when to store it into the battery system. It's a 20 kilowatt battery, which covers more than enough for us household usage for the whole day if we need it. So it actually maximizes, the idea of the system is to maximize the amount of money that I'm getting from my solar and my battery system combined. Obviously, with all this free power, we're trying to maximize the system itself. So we had a recent kitchen renovation and we installed 3-phase power, which helps in your house stabilization of the electricity apparently. But most importantly, we've got an induction cooktop, which is very, very efficient, and we're trying to get rid of our gas going forward. We're also looking obviously at an electric car. That's probably our next car, and the solar and the battery system will all work with the electric car, which we can get a fast charger on because of our 3-phase power. Obviously, having excess power that we're generating from our system, we're loving to be able to share this with our community as well. Speaking of sharing with our community, we're also part of a website called ShareWaste. Now, the idea of the website is such that those people who would like to compost but can't because they don't have the room, or they're in apartments, or they get to come and drop their compost off with us. So on each side of the house I have these wonderful 44 litre bins, and people come from I'm really not too sure where and drop me their compost. I've met a number of them over the years, and apparently Lane Cove has 9 or 10 of them as well. So there's a number of places in Lane Cove you can actually do this, and they drop their waste into our bin here, and we have a number of compost bins out the back that we use the household waste to effectively just compost down for our garden, which is absolutely amazing. It's blown me away how many people are so conscientious to wanting to be able to do this. I think it's great. We've been composting ever since we've been here, which is fantastic. But it wasn't until I saw the ShareWaste website that I thought that's a great idea, and wanted to be able to give other people the opportunity to compost as well. If you compost your kitchen waste, you're actually reducing the emissions the most you possibly can. And that's it. It's amazing how easy it is. Every week I get 3 of those bins and it disappears into my compost, which is then used in our edible garden for our neighbours as well. So following on from the ShareWaste, what do we do with all the compost? Well, I'm glad you asked. When I arrived in my house, my kids were a lot littler, and they loved coming out and helping in the garden and growing fruit and vegetables. They were very, very excited about the whole idea. Now I have teenage boys, I don't get so much help. We do still, however, have a fantastic garden, which is very, very productive. So we grow a lot of herbs, and I then try to grow vegetables which we can use and which are also quite expensive, or alternatively just easy to grow, so that we don't have to worry about pests, we don't have to worry about anything else. So at the moment we've got a huge amount of basil growing, which is lovely. We use that for basil pizzas. We've got lots of zucchinis, which is So in here, now we also at times, because of all the vegetables that we get, we then share it with the community that adds to the compost. And we put it out the front in a box with a nice sign to the ShareWaste people saying, please, I have a glut of zucchini, a glut of cucumbers in this case, and people are welcome to take it that we get their compost from. So what else do we grow? We have a huge array of blueberries around the outside, which the kids still enjoy, and none of them actually make it inside the house because they all get eaten straight from the vine, which is great. I also focus on citrus because it's nice and easy, doesn't have too many bugs, which is great. But we've got a lot of other things that we grow. Obviously at the moment we've got tomatoes, zucchini. We have a lot of ginger. When ginger was very expensive, I was made to plant ginger. Also when avocados were very expensive, I planted a number of avocado trees. And we also have a number of mango trees at the front. So very, very prolific with all the compost that we get from the ShareWaste. So as part of our sustainability, we also went and got bees. Now, these are stingless native Australian bees, which to be honest, I hadn't really heard of until I did some research. One of my friends, who's a horticulturalist, asked whether he could get some bees and keep them at my house because his wife wasn't keen on the idea to have them at his apartment. So I said, of course I can. That's great. So we got one box to start with, and his wife saw how good they were. So he actually got another box at his apartment, and he's kept them on his apartment, which is absolutely fantastic. But these bees all came from one box, and we've just split them every year. And they're amazing. Apparently there's 20,000 bees in each of these boxes, of which 2,000 go out every day and pollinate all my vegetables. Well, thank you very much for joining us on this virtual tour of my house and garden and all the things that we do for what I hope is our community. While the bees are beneficial to our garden, they're beneficial to next door neighbour's garden and all the people around here. The ShareWaste is beneficial to everyone that can possibly drop it off. We like to think that we're trying to do something for our community and for the environment at the same time, and I just do what I can. It's surprisingly easy to get involved, and a little bit of education here or there makes a big difference. I think it's really worthwhile. Check out the Lane Cove website. It's got some great information there, and I think that there's something on there that everyone can do.